Good afternoon, my little couch potatoes. We are back and welcome back to the comfiest courtroom on the internet. I'm your host, Llama, and it's time for dramatic testimony, overruled objections, and absolutely unqualified opinions. So grab your snuggiest blanket, some delicious snacks, and get ready to watch Court with your internet besties. This is Couch Court with Llama. And today's court is sponsored by Friendship Bracelets, because according to Brennan, if you're on a first name basis with someone, you're obviously besties. Man, I wrote two bangers today, you guys. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks it's funny, but I'm still proud of myself. I'm still giving myself a thumbs up and a pat on the back. Good job, Llama. Anyway, we're all coming back for part 2 of the Karen Reed trial. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Lala. Yes, we changed our names because nicknames are important. And I have back joining me the lovely Annie. I'm sure more of our panel will be back in a little while. Maybe they'll drop in. We had a big panel for the first half towards the end there. That was very cool and exciting. But so I had to miss the last hour of Jen McCabe's testimony because I had an appointment. So Annie, do you want to maybe fill me in a little bit on what I missed? And if anyone else missed, I love your sponsors. Thank you, Lady in Gray. Thank you. I'm glad somebody does.
Girl, I would do my best, but even Buffy said they were jumping around in the defense question, like the timeline of questions there. So it was so hard to follow. But I have questions and notes.
Okay.
I don't necessarily
Because
make
I think
sense.
where I left off before I had to go was she said that she called only 2 people and she was about to name drop the other people that the defense were like, yeah, but you talked to them too. I just never heard who any of those people were. So that's where
I did write that down.
Okay.
So she said she admitted to the police. LEO. Do we know what that stands for? I just wrote down
Law
LEO.
Enforcement Officer.
Oh. Okay.
It's okay. It's been a long day.
That's too funny. Wow. All right. So before the cops got there, she told them that she'd called Matt and Carrie. In addition to Matt and Carrie, she apparently also called Brian, the DA's office. She was hesitant to say that. She kept saying it was her witness advocate. But it was the DA's office. And I believe she said Peggy.
Was this was the day of, right? That they're questioning her? The day of his death?
I think so. I thought
she have
so.
A witness advocate already?
Brian.
That seems pretty fast. Okay. Continue on. Sorry, go on. I don't mean to ask other questions.
No, you're good. After that, it kind of jumps to other things that were happening.
Okay.
So, it was just kind of all over the place. Who's in here? Lady in Gray, Terry?
Yeah, Lady in Gray and Terry. And Amy is listening, but she has crappy internet, apparently.
Okay. So at one point, they show a picture of the house. We've all seen it. It was your background, the house.
Yes.
And they were talking about how there's a door on the side of the garage.
Right.
And I don't know why he was asking her about the door on the side of the house, on the garage. But anyway, she responds like, oh, yes, there is. As in, like, she'd never seen it before. She didn't remember. And it was so, the questioning seemed so erratic to me. It was like,
interesting.
Yeah, it was not making sense. When Buffy gets back, I do have a list of questions because I couldn't follow that easily.
Yeah.
But they did get to the point. They did get to the point where they were talking about Proctor pretty much going and meeting everybody together, and that he did not do separate interviews with people. So can't wait to hear more about that. Lady in Gray says he's trying to show a person can enter the house without going. Okay.
Enter through the garage. Yeah, because the doors are not that far apart, and they're both facing the same way. I've seen houses like that, and most people go in through like the garage mudroom thing.
So John could go into the garage and not the house. And that makes sense. And that gives some validity to the people that said, no, he never came in the house.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there are
So,
3 doors. My apologies. Three. Well,
oh,
wait, are there 3 doors or is this the the multiple of 3 joke? It
oh
could go
no.
either way with this trial. I don't know.
Oh, and then at some point, she says that she hasn't, apparently, she said she hasn't spoken to Brian Higgins since John O'Keefe's wake. And I don't know why that matters. Like, what, were they close? Why bring that in at all? Are we going to get to that? Does it actually matter? I don't know.
Have they went through
So,
any
and
of her texts or anything?
no,
Like they haven't done that part yet,
no,
right? Okay. Maybe
nope.
that's where we're gonna get the answer about
I hope so.
Mr. Higgins.
Um,
Yes, 3.
at
Oh,
one
there
point,
she is.
Buffy, at one point, she
You're so
apparently,
excited. Forget it. It's my
I
show, but
know,
whatever. Let's just all be excited for Buffy. I'm just
I
kidding.
mean,
I'm always excited for
Llama.
Buffy. All right, let's pull Buffy on. Are you ready, babes? You can give me a nod if you are. Okay. Welcome, Buff.
Hey.
What
Hey.
up?
Annie was just filling me in on the deets.
Oh,
Kind of.
stuff in my face.
I was doing my best, but I still don't know what happened. So,
And then I had to make sure nothing was stuck in my teeth.
Oh, I do have chips. I just remembered that.
I ate all my hot fries.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt the flow.
No, you're fine. Annie has a list of questions for you. So.
I just,
gosh,
I'm so confused, y'all.
I will do my best.
I will say, so the other things they got to were, Jackson's questioning her right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. So Jackson was asking her basically like, where was the dog? You know, Buffy said that he's trying to set up. So she was talking about how when Link sent her to go get the Alberts up or to go get them, she, went in to their bedroom and woke them up. And apparently the dog sleeps in there, but she has no recollection of the dog being there or not being there. So it seems, and I mean, they were kind of pointing out like, what dog doesn't alert when somebody just randomly walks into a house?
Especially this kind of dog, right?
Yeah,
it's like a German Shepherd dog.
My dog probably wouldn't. Okay, so my pit bull probably wouldn't. She rarely barks.
Yeah, mine too.
But my Cocker Spaniel, she barks at a leaf.
We had an Akita growing up, and he would bark one time, and after that he would pretty much like position himself to attack. But like there was still one. There was at least something. But anyway, so they talked about kind of where was the dog, but they didn't really come to a close on that.
Okay.
And then they jumped to the next thing. So
I think that's good questions about the dog, though.
I
didn't
think
really factor that in.
They're setting up for, and we haven't gotten to Caitlin's testimony yet, but in the last trial, it was Caitlin Albert.
Oh,
yeah,
the daughter, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And she was the one that took Colin Albert, which nobody's brought up has been in the house yet, but he was he did come to the house to meet up with Brian Jr.
Oh.
I don't know. Did they bring it up in this trial, or did I
conflate
the two trials?
They've not brought it up yet, I don't believe.
Okay, so he ends up coming to the house to hang out with Brian Jr. because it's Brian Jr.'s birthday. So Caitlin's the last one to leave, and the defense's theory is that when Caitlin left, she took, Colin away and the dog.
Okay, so we're just missing that.
It sounds like they want to plant that thought that there was a dog attack and then the dog went missing that night.
Does the dog generally leave the house? Is that a common thing?
Does your dog leave the house?
No.
Yeah. at 12 o'clock at night?
At 12 o'clock at night? No. No.
Why not just ask it that way and instead of leave it open?
In what way?
I guess because Caitlin's not there and she can't testify. So never mind.
And presumably, if Jen McCabe was already gone, how does she know that Caitlin was the last one to leave the house?
That's a good. Ooh,
a very good point.
I did not write down that question.
But we already know that Jen McCabe knows everything because she wrote a timeline. So she got everybody's information and she made this story. So she knows how everybody pieces together.
Right, because it's not even a matter like, sure, they could all be making this up together or lying, but the thing is that they've kind of, by doing this, they've kind of tainted everyone's reliability and credibility.
And I think that's really what Jackson's trying to make a point to the jury to say, like, hey, this isn't your memories. All these memories have come together and you're saying things as though you remember them, but they're not yours. Like, y'all, you have pieced this together and refined this. Y'all have talked about this case so much that you have like conflated your memories with everybody else's.
Which is entirely possible because they say, like, your memory, how it works is the more you remember something, the more it changes. Right.
And also, like, you and I can be in a conversation and I'll be like, you'll tell me something and I'll go into another conversation and be like, oh, I heard this, but wait, did I actually hear that? Or did somebody tell me that? Like,
for sure.
Like, did I hear that?
I think we do that all the time.
Sometimes I heard that somewhere. I'm not sure where I heard that. No, I didn't. I wasn't there, but someone told me it. So it's like I was there.
Right. And we all know that eyewitness testimony is not really actually reliable science-wise. It kind of proves that people are not as good with eyewitness as they tend to think they are.
I mean,
and then you have a bunch of
she couldn't tell you where the Jeep was parked, but she can definitely tell you where this was parked and this is parked, but she can't
where Carrie or where
I can't remember what car is parked where. And I mean, I conveniently forgot 10 minutes after I was asked how many phone calls I made when the FBI calls. Like, I mean,
yeah,
that's why they keep saying law enforcement officers.
It's the FBI.
They don't want to say the FBI. Oh.
So I'm confused, Buffy. Maybe you can clear up this timeline that they're talking about, because why would the FBI be knocking on her door like the same day or the next day?
I don't. Did she say specifically what day it was?
I'm lost in his questioning of.
So I was listening to this while I was driving, so I wasn't able to focus. So
because I was assuming this happened the day of.
See, none of
his
this
death, but
I don't think so. I don't think so. None of this was brought up in the first trial. This is brand new information.
Okay. Oh.
So my thought is this is FBI testimony because they wouldn't have had that information during the first trial.
And that also says why they keep not saying what they're saying, because he keeps conflating officers with agents. And
because he can't say FBI.
Not that confusing. Right?
It's not, but he's struggling because he wants to say it and he doesn't want to mistrial.
Yeah. Because I picked up on it, but I was like, why would they even be there in the first 24, 48 hours? I mean, this isn't your typical FBI case. Like, that's just not how the FBI works.
Yeah, I don't think this is the first 20. I will have to go back and listen again because, like I said, I was listening to this in the car with a kid.
He jumped from them making the timeline then to like that question. Honestly, I don't think he was very specific, and maybe that was on purpose.
Maybe. I don't know. But it sounds to me like it was, and like I said, I'll have to go back and listen to that testimony because I'm pretty sure this is FBI, which is why he can't say what officer Proctor called you to talk on the phone. Like he would have, if it was Canton PD, if it was Boston, if it was Massachusetts, if it was any local agency, they would have brought that. He would have said exactly the name of who called. He can't. And that's this, and the FBI didn't get involved till down the road. So this is not the day after.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you for clearing that up because I was very confused about,
Mm-hmm.
about that. I don't think it was, maybe he just wasn't being very specific or reason, or I zoned out because that could have happened too.
Because if he, I'm telling you, he would have brought up what officers. He would have said their name because there would have been a report. There would have been,
Oh,
you
well,
know
he
what I'm
already
saying?
name dropped a bunch of officers
Mm-hmm.
who were
Yeah.
at the scene. Seraph
Proctor,
and
Link,
Link and
Seraph, which you
yeah,
haven't met yet.
no.
Which, if this was the last trial, they were the first
So,
to testify.
so what they were talking about was the FBI shows up at her house. She lies to them about who she is.
Yeah.
Then they call her and she's like, "Oh yeah, that was just me. I thought they were trying to sell me something."
Mm.
What? I don't know.
So you used your sister?
So you used your sister's name and then you call. Now I don't blame her for calling her husband. The first person I would call would be Elifie and be like, what am I supposed to do?" Even though I know it, I would immediately be like, "You need to come home." Regardless. You know, it doesn't matter if I saw something or if I did something.
I agree.
You need your
That's
comfort
probably
person.
what I would have done.
Yeah, I have no problems with that.
That's a good point too.
They do show their creds. They got little cool flippy card things. At least they do in the movies.
Good
I think they do
point.
in real life too.
Excellent point.
But also I feel like they carry an aura of you know who
Men
they
in Black.
are. Yeah, like yeah. So then she actually calls several other people in this 10-minute window.
Mm-hmm. The victim advocate.
Which explains
Carrie
why she would have
Robert.
one at this point, because there's no way she would have one within 24
Right.
hours. That's why I was like, when is this taking place? Because
Yeah. That's why no. It was Carrie Roberts, the victim advocate, her husband. It was Brian Albert.
Peggy, I think.
And Peggy O'Keefe.
Peggy.
But she said that Carrie, they had already stopped by and talked to Carrie. But she was calling Carrie to ask, "Hey, has anybody stopped by?" You're telling me Carrie wouldn't have right afterwards been like, "Whoa."
Girl, heads
the
up.
freaking FBI was just here.
Visit you.
What is happening?
I mean,
what is happening?
If my dad calls, like I'm literally texting my sister going, "Heads up, you're getting a phone call." Because that's the way it goes. So
yeah.
Like, heads up, my dad just called. Like, just so you know, that dad's going to call, answer the phone.
And then you're going to lie to the FBI and then say, "Oh, I forgot I called 4 other people." Didn't ring a bell. What? I wonder if we'll get those call logs, though, to see how long each of those conversations
Well, she told the FBI
mm-hmm.
that she needs 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, she made a lot of phone calls.
Okay. I think this is piecing together.
Okay.
So glad I can bring some clarity.
Yeah.
So basically, he was trying to. The FBI. If the jury even picks up on the FBI, was the jury.
I mean, I kind of picked up on it, and I did not think
you
that
have a little more background on the case.
The only reason I thought that is because of the saying agents instead of officers and the slip ups, because she did. I think the judge did like correct him, like remember to call them certain things, kind of. There was subtle hints, because I did think she was just talking about, or he was talking about the first day. But I mean, if we're a little confused in this, like there's holes, what it's happening, then the jury probably feels that way.
It's not filled in because we by this point we've already had a lot of all these questions, who these people are filled in, and we're talking about people and places and things that we haven't talked about.
Let's face it, the jury knows the FBI was involved in this. I mean,
do they? I mean, the last time they thought they were like.
That's funny, Shunka.
what? They thought they were car insurance people, like that Arco was hired by car insurance.
What?
Mm.
Okay, I mean, I guess it's not completely out of the...
Because all the jury was told was these accident reconstruction people were hired by a third party. They weren't hired by defense. They weren't hired by prosecution. So they were left to speculate, well, who hired them? And then they were like, car insurance, third party.
Fair assumption, right? Okay. Adjusters. I mean, that's a thing that most people are probably like common familiar with.
And of course, if it was her insurance, they would say that an accident never happened because they don't want to pay.
They're an insurance company. That's what they do. Oh boy. Maybe she thought they wanted to talk about the car extended warranty, right? Did it look like a bunch of like Mormons coming to your door? I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That was
it's interesting.
That was, I think, that was very new testimony.
We're back. Un momento, please.
Just in time, because my cat is meowing at the door.
Oh, sorry.
Folks associated with them. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, the entire Karen Reed trial is airing live on our...
They psyched us out, you guys.
Streaming channel, CBS.
Psyched us out.
Doing replays?
Yes. Jerks. How embarrassing. I'm just kidding. I'm not really that embarrassed about it. Well, farts. They should be back any time now, right? It's been like almost an hour. Or just about an hour.
That's why I said, whose time are we on? When the food gets in front of you, when they leave the room, because that's what they did last time. It was like 45 minutes, but it wasn't. It was like an hour.
Why do they? And I'm sure they had like some pretrial motion about this. Why are they? So I understand the reason in the first trial why the FBI was excluded, because it was an ongoing investigation and stuff. I can see why they excluded, but why is the FBI excluded here in this second trial?
Because it's prejudicial.
Okay. I guess. But prejudicial against who?
Yeah.
The state?
I don't
either.
Because I would think prejudicial only applies to the defendant. Yes?
Prejudicial.
Is that what she said?
I mean, that's pretty much what everybody says. It's because that's why they're excluded, because it's prejudicial. It can be.
That's okay. Okay.
I'll definitely need some sort of lawyer to explain to me.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Because that sounds like their problem.
I got my law degree from Court TV, so. Not sure I can help there. I'm a law TV graduate, or a Court TV graduate.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
It's
I'm so thirsty. I think it's more probative than prejudicial for Karen Reed, but not for the CW. Yeah, I mean, I agree.
I mean, it would be extremely helpful for Karen Reed. This is why it's not allowed in.
Well, like, that's the thing, right? Is it's the state that should be doing all the heavy lifting if that's what's happening. I don't understand.
And that's everybody's issue with this case from the get-go.
That's wild.
Okay.
So we still have, like, most likely her text and phone calls and things like that to go through. I think you were saying at the end of the last episode.
Who, her?
Or earlier. Jen.
I think we still gotta go through text messages. Does she make phone call? I don't know. They're going all kinds of different directions. There's no way to predict which way we're going here or what they'll bring in. I think everything is just all over the place.
Yeah.
Because I don't, that's why I'm like, this is a new trial for me too. I don't know what's happening.
I guess, yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, we don't need to watch this again. We watched the first one. But
Mm-mm. Different
literally
trial.
everyone is being like, this is a whole different trial, a whole different game plan happening, both
Yeah.
by prosecution and defense.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why Annie and I didn't we didn't watch the first one before we started this one. One, so we were kind of new going into things. Um, but also, I mean, I'm glad we kind of didn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because at
Yeah.
least in real time here, we're also being like, none of this is making any sense. What is happening?
I think it
Um,
makes more sense if you watch the first trial for sure.
oh,
Um,
sure, I'm
because
sure it
everything's
does.
a lot more linear. Right now, I don't
It is absolutely a struggle to keep up right now, not knowing any of the other stuff.
Yeah,
But I'm hoping that once they start bringing in the actual investigators, a lot of your fuzziness is going to clear up. Because that's really where the fuckery is. Sorry, bad words, but that's really where
thanks,
the
Claire.
is.
I'm so happy
So
you've joined us to watch this one live with us. It's very exciting. I love that.
I mean, yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
there's just so much more to come.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Hopefully.
like, I'm ready.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And Jimmy King
Hmm.
wasn't as fiery as I expected her to be.
Mm-hmm.
She really reined herself in, I think, this time around, which,
It's
Do you think she's
annoying.
reined herself in, or
oh,
does
yeah.
Jackson seems to be? No, he did kind of start pulling punches after I left.
I
Oh,
mean,
no, I mean, he got upset, but like she did too, but he's had to change his strategy, and you can see it because
Okay.
she's not. I mean, y'all, if she seems a little flustered to y'all right now, this is
yeah, she's not
not it.
feeding what he thought he was going to get.
She's not giving what she gave the last trial.
Hmm.
You gotta watch her
Interesting.
testimony from the last trial. Really, Llama, you really do. Because
Okay.
to do a comparison of both, like she's not giving the last trial vibes.
Interesting.
And so
Well, then I
because
think you're right.
yeah.
Because earlier you said that you were worried about the jury seeing AJ as a jerk because
And
the way he's
he's
not.
borderline getting there because he's being very pushy.
Well, and then
With some
even if she
questions.
does get, if she pushes back later, they could say it's because he started it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, and he is being pushy for some things. He really is. Like, he's really trying to get an answer out of her. She's not going to give him. Like, she's like, I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember. Well,
Luffy, she's just a soccer mom.
she doesn't know these things.
She said that earlier, and I was just like,
Come now.
we're just a bunch of moms. We don't know.
Right.
Get out of here. We're all
I'm
a bunch
just
of moms, and we
baby.
know.
I'm just a baby.
Right? I'm just a baby.
I'm just a baby. I'm just a girl.
Like, get out of here with that. Get out of here.
Girl, you know enough to go sit down and make it I'm a citizen detective. I'm going to make a timeline. Okay.
Yeah, she very much seems that she did want to insert herself in places. So,
is Caitlin the last one to leave before at the 2-ish, 2:30 time frame? Before the body was found? Is that what they were saying?
Or getting what you said?
Well, I don't know what time she leaved, and I don't think they can bring in Caitlin's stuff because that would be like hearsay at this point, right? Because she can't testify what Caitlin
but did you say that they were trying to get to? She was the last one at the house.
Mm-hmm. I think he's setting that up.
He's teeing it up.
Yes.
Okay.
And the dog went missing.
Okay.
If you guys haven't yet, please like this video since it's a new one, so we can get back in the algorithm so people see us and know that we're live again. Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Also, I noticed that 3 people in the courtroom are wearing Kelly green. which is
Really?
interesting. Yeah. So Paul's wife or whatever is wearing green, and then next to, I don't know who the people are, Karen's side. I think maybe it's her mom that's wearing green and the lady beside her, or it's the two ladies next to her mom. I don't know. They pan very quickly. So I just thought that was interesting. Hello, Kelly. Welcome back.
Chloe's on
Welcome
a farm
back.
in Vermont. I
Being
mean,
aggressive towards other dogs.
That's the thing, right? If they're going to be aggressive towards other dogs, they're probably going to be aggressive in the house. They're going to bark a lot.
you're going to have to wait till Nicole gets on the stand and explains all this.
Oh, I can't wait.
Or Brian. Because they'll put Brian Albert on the stand too.
I saw on X they made Paul move because he was making comments under his breath to Karen and her family.
Behave yourself.
Because he has been sitting where that other guy, that's where he's been sitting every day.
He got in trouble.
That's exactly where he sat all of the last trial too. He's just sat there and stared at her.
I love Karen's suit today too. Good color. I like it.
Like a slave blue.
All right, sorry about the delay, jurors. We told that we blew a fuse, and that's why we couldn't get started on time. So, these old courthouses. So, all right, we appreciate your patience. Go ahead, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. McCabe, when you first saw Ms. Reed's SUV pull up, very shortly thereafter, you sent a text to John O'Keefe, correct?
I walked to the door, saw the car, and that's when I sent him a text, yes.
Right. So you walked up to the door, saw the SUV outside, and then texted him something at that, basically while you're standing at the door.
I believe so, yes.
What did you text him?
Here?
Okay. That was, do you remember the time?
I don't know.
Would it refresh your recollection if you were to look at a series of text messages contained in a Celebrite report? I think you've seen this before.
Sure.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. May I ask one foundational question before
Okay.
I give this to the witness? Ms. McCabe, I'm going to ask you about a series of text messages. It's not a memory contest in terms of the timing. I'm going to ask you about probably 5 or so. All of those purport to be contained in here. Do you remember the times of those 5 texts?
I don't off the top of my head.
Do you think it would refresh your recollection to look at all those in one felled swoop as you look at this document? So I don't have to go back and forth?
Are these in evidence?
This is not in evidence to my knowledge. Not yet.
Would it help you to remember?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you bring
times.
it to Ms. McCabe?
Thank you.
Thank you. This is just my sake. This one is. Yeah, I think that, I just think this all is sure. I might in terms of that as well. But Ms. McCabe, if you wouldn't mind, take a look at the tabs, not that whole document, it's two days. Take a look at the tabs and go in reverse chronological order and see if that refreshes your recollection about the time and content of text messages that you sent to Mr. O'Keefe those early that early morning of January 29th.
Okay. Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm not going to have to remember the exact times of all 5, am I?
I'll help.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. McCabe, did you see a text on here that was consistent with your memory that you texted here?
Yes.
And was that at 12:14, I'm sorry, at 12:27 a.m.?
I don't know if exactly, I'm assuming if it's on that paper.
If I may have just a moment, Your Honor.
Why don't I see counsel at sidebar for just a minute?
We just got started. Hold on, let me channel my Judge Bev.
Big
No, I
sigh.
mean, that didn't take long. What did you do?
Broke it.
Thank you for the croque madames, Chunka.
She's probably like, Llama, I heard you had to let your dogs outside, so I'm just going to close sidebar so you don't miss any of this. Oh, goodness.
Oh.
Well, that didn't last very, very long. I do feel like she is being very... stupid music.
It is.
Because I need to go over to the other one. I mute it too, so I don't listen to it the whole time. She seems very like she has kids' gloves on for Jen compared to all the other witnesses.
She's always got kids glove on for the Commonwealth's witnesses.
Yeah.
She's going to let him go ham on the ARCA witness, but okay.
Oh, and we're back.
And we're back.
Okay.
May I?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would offer the following stipulation at 12/14/27 on January 29th, 2022. Text message from Jen McCabe to, text message from John O'Keefe's phone to Jen McCabe's phone. Where to? At 12:20, all these are on January 29th, 2022 at 12:27:33 from Jennifer McCabe's phone to John O'Keefe's phone. Here, exclamation point, question mark. Same date, 12:31:47 from Jen McCabe's phone to John O'Keefe's phone. Pull behind me. Same date, 12:40:31 from Jen McCabe's phone to John O'Keefe's phone. Hello. 12:42:09. Text message from Jennifer McCabe's phone to John O'Keefe's phone. Where are the letter U?
Okay, thank you.
Finally, 12:45:53 from Jen McCabe's phone to John O'Keefe's phone. Hello. I would offer the stipulation that those are correct times and dates and content of the text messages between John O'Keefe's phone and Jennifer McCabe's phone on January 29, 2022.
All right, and that's what you're agreeing to, Mr. Brennan?
Yes, Your Honor, is contained in the Cellbrite report.
Okay. All right, folks, so I told you yesterday about a stipulation when I talked about something in the front lawn. This is similar. So what you just heard, both lawyers agree that that's information contained in a Cellbrite report.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I continue?
Yes.
At some point, you indicated that, and by the way, Ms. McCabe, at 12:27, it's now been stipulated to, you texted a single word, here, exclamation point, question mark, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You indicate that you saw the SUV move up after it was in front of the 34 Fairview residence. It moved up some number of feet, correct?
The next time I looked, it was at a different location.
Right. Now, you did not see the white Jeep move from the place that you originally saw it in front of the mailbox, correct?
I never looked out at the white Jeep.
But you never saw that move ever.
No.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Higgins, that Jeep was in the same spot while Mr. Higgins was inside the residence until he left, correct?
That's what I would assume, yes.
Okay. And you never saw him go out and move his car and come back in or anything like that?
I never did, no.
After you, it's fair to say that once you noted that the SUV, Ms. Reed's SUV, was in front of the location, you started paying some attention to it.
I went to the door a few times to look out, yes.
As a matter of fact, in the course of about 19 minutes, you went to the door no fewer than 5 times, correct?
I'm not sure if it was 5.
You've indicated previously that for every time you went to the door and saw the SUV, you texted something, which are the texts contained in the document that was just stipulated to. Is that right?
I did text 5 times. You are correct.
Okay, so it's fair to say if you texted 5 times, then you went to the door 5 times, if those were associated with one another. You walked up, looked out the door, see the SUV, and text something. Here, pull behind me, where are you? Those texts, correct?
I remember going to the front door, seeing the car, and texting here. When I went to the door the second time, the car had moved up towards the flagpole, and I texted, pull behind me, because I thought, did they not know where to park? Did they think they were at the wrong house?
So my question is this. Every time you went to the door, you texted something.
I'm not sure that I did, yes.
Do you remember
I'm not sure that I did, sorry.
Do you remember a year ago testifying that every single time you texted, you indicated that you looked out at the SUV and saw something that prompted you to text something?
Am I aware that I said that?
Correct, that you testified to that.
Could you show that to me, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go get my chips. I need snacks.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
Take a look at the highlighted
Sure.
portion and just read that to yourself. Let me know when you're finished.
Okay.
May I?
Yes.
Ms. McCabe, does that refresh your recollection about the issue we were just talking about?
I see what's written down, yes.
Okay. Did you testify in answer to the following question? And as a matter of fact, you looked every single time that you texted, you indicated that you looked out at the SUV and saw something that prompted you to text something, correct? Answer, correct.
I answered correct to that,
Okay.
yes.
So if you looked out, I'm sorry, if you texted 5 times, that's all I'm getting to, you went to the door about 5 times.
I'm not sure. I remember definitely going twice. And again, if I misstated or I said I went 5 times, 4 times, I apologize.
Well, do you think this testimony is in error?
No, I don't. I'm thinking with my memory, it was 3 years ago, and I'm thinking that maybe I wasn't clear on that detail of how many times that I went to the door.
And
What I
certainly-
can tell you I'm clear on is that I did go twice, and I saw it. I saw it straight ahead. I saw it at the flagpole, and a third time further up. I cannot say with certainty, with my memory today, that I was up at that door every single time. I'm sorry.
And then, and by the way, when you testified, as you just saw, that was a year ago, correct?
Yes.
A year earlier and a year closer to the event, correct?
Yes, it was.
Your memory would have been a little bit fresher then than it is now, a year later.
I don't think I can compare my memory then to now.
You can't compare your memory? Do you think your memory gets better with time or fades a
someti-
little with time?
Well, some things, unfortunately, I think about every single day with this case, the trauma of
Sure.
it and what I experienced and went through. And there are some things that I am certain I will never forget. And I know for sure where the car was, and I know for sure I sent those 2 texts, but I apologize if I misstated. I went up more than I did. I'm just trying to give you what I remember today.
Let's talk about those texts and and you looking out the door. You did approach the door and you saw that the vehicle was there the initial time, correct? That's 1.
When I texted here, yes.
And you texted here, exclamation point, question mark. Is that right?
Correct.
And you indicated that when you first saw the vehicle, it was straight out ahead of you in front of the front door, and it was stationary. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Then you said you went back to the door and you saw that it had moved up, quote, a little bit. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Toward the flagpole. Is that right?
Was that the flagpole? Yes.
And when you saw that it had moved up toward the flagpole, then you texted again at 12:40, which has been stipulated to hello. Is that right?
When I saw it move up to the flagpole, I believe I texted pull behind me.
when you went the second time, and by the way, it's my mistake. I got the I jumped over one. It was 12:31:47, which we stipulated to pull behind me. That's when the SUV was up closer to the flagpole, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Then you went yet again at 12:40 and saw the SUV yet again and texted hello. It was the second hello.
I'm not sure if that was when I texted hello.
But you did see that the SUV had moved again.
Yes.
Now where was it?
At first, it was straight ahead. Then it was at the flagpole, and then it was further up.
Then at 12:42, 2 minutes later, you texted, "Where are you?" Correct?
Yes.
Okay. At that point, it was still up by the flagpole?
No, I'm not saying that it was still outside.
Where was it?
I'm not sure where the vehicle was.
At 12:45, you texted yet again, "Hello." Is that right?
Yes, I did.
You indicated that was, you texted hello the last time you saw the vehicle. Is that right?
I'm not saying that today, no.
Well, did you say it previously?
In my testimony, did I say that the last time I texted? Do you have that written that I could see?
You just read it.
Well, that was your question that you had read to me. I never came out and said that.
Ms. McCabe, I asked you if you testified to that a year ago. That's my question. Did you testify to that a year ago, that when you went, every single time you went to the door, you texted something because seeing the vehicle prompted you to text something to John?
That's a summary of maybe the,
Did you testify to that a year ago?
to what? That when I went to the door? Yeah, different times when I went to the door, I did text, yes.
And then you testified as well that you went to the door a final time and saw that the SUV was gone. It had left, correct?
Yes, at one point I did.
And that was just a couple of minutes after your last text at 12:45, is that right?
I'm not sure of the time.
Matter of fact, you've testified previously that it was around 12:50 that you last went to the door and noted that the car was completely gone. Is that right?
I'm not sure of that.
You're not sure of that?
No, if you could show me, I'd appreciate it.
At some point, did you note that the vehicle was gone? Let's get to that.
Yes.
Around what time was that?
I do not know.
12:45, a little before, a little after?
I'm not sure. I can't give a time.
Would it refresh your recollection to look at how you testified to that particular time last year?
And she made
Sure.
a timeline. So
May I?
Yes.
Thank you.
The highlighted portion,
Thank you.
Ms. McCabe?
I was going to say that, Shanka. Did you see that last one? She was waiting for him to object, and he didn't. Because her eyes like went right to where he's sitting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ms. McCabe, does that refresh your recollection as to what time last year you indicated that you went to the door and saw that the SUV was gone?
It says on the paper that I was asked if after 12:45 it was gone, and I answered correct.
Okay.
I never gave a time.
All right. And that coincides with the last hello that you texted to John's phone, correct?
Again, I don't have that paper in front of me. Is that the
Well,
time?
that's the stipulation. That's what you don't need to worry about
Okay.
that. That's been stipulated to. Your last hello text was at 12:45.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So that coincides, that testimony from last year coincides with your last text message saying hello. You noted that the SUV at that point had gone, had left, correct?
Correct.
So if I hear your testimony correctly, you saw the SUV in position 1.
Yes.
There was a text or something, or 2 maybe. Then you saw it in position 2. You went back to the door and noted that SUV had moved and it was now closer to the flagpole, correct?
We've just asked 2 questions.
It had moved closer to the
The
flagpole.
first question is you said I saw it and I sent a text or 2. I know I just said 1 here.
Okay. Then you saw it a second time,
Correct.
and now it's closer to the flagpole.
Yes, correct.
And there's texting going on. I'm not getting down to the minute of the text, but there's texting going on. You're sending texts.
I'm sending, yes.
Okay. Then you went back to the door a third time and saw that it had moved beyond the flagpole, correct?
Correct.
Then, according to your testimony last year, you went back to the door at least a fourth time to see that it was gone, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so at bare minimum, based on your testimony today, you were at the door, looking out the window at that portion of either the yard directly in front of you, and in front of the house, or toward the flagpole, or beyond the flagpole, 4 times, correct?
From last year's testimony, but what I remember today
No,
with
Ms. McCabe, that's not
certainty
my
is
question.
twice.
You need to let her answer the question. Answer your question, please.
Go ahead.
Okay. What I remember certainty is looking at it out front, at the flagpole, and beyond. I don't remember how many times I went up to the door. I was back and forth.
Right, but according to you, you saw the car in 3 different positions, correct?
Correct.
So that's at least 3 times to the door, correct?
Correct.
And you saw the car gone, right?
Correct.
3 plus 1 is 4, correct?
Correct.
So now you're telling us that you went to the door a minimum of 4 times and looked across that yard at the SUV, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You had a clear view of that SUV as you looked out that storm door every time you went to the door, didn't you?
It was dark and snowing, but I could see a vehicle out there, yes.
As a matter of fact, you've indicated that it was a clear view. There was nothing obstructing your vision, correct?
No, there was nothing but the weather conditions.
And you indicated that, and by the way, the blizzard had basically just started. There was a dusting on the ground.
It was snowing. It was accumulating.
Right, but it was early. Early
Correct.
in the storm.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Right. And when asked about whether or not you had a view, well, let me ask it a different way. In terms of your view of the SUV and the distance from the storm door to the SUV to that curb line, there was nothing obstructing your view. You had a clear view of that, a good view of the SUV, correct?
When I looked out the window, I could see the SUV in front of me, yes.
At no time during any of this interaction with the door, meaning going back and forth through the storm door, texting, looking outside, seeing the SUV in position 1, seeing the SUV in position 2, seeing the SUV in position 3, at no time did you hear any noise that was unusual, did you?
No, I didn't.
You didn't hear any screaming?
No.
You didn't hear any yelling?
No.
No loud voices?
No.
No foul language?
No.
You didn't hear a door slam?
No.
You didn't hear a verbal argument or a fight of any kind?
No. No.
You didn't hear the squealing of tires or the scraping of tires on the pavement?
No.
You didn't hear a collision take place?
No.
Or a crash?
No.
Or screams for help?
No.
Moaning, groaning, as if someone was in distress?
No.
As you looked at the SUV the first time, you've already indicated that you had a clear view straight out the door, right? It's right in front of the front door as a crow flies, right? It's not at an angle.
Right there. Correct.
Okay. You also previously indicated that you saw tire tracks in the roadway.
Yes.
In that very, very light dusting of snow, the accumulation that you talked about, you saw tire tracks of some sort.
Yes.
So that's down on the ground, beyond the yard, somewhere in the roadway.
In the street, correct.
You had a good view of those tire tracks as well, correct?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, you were able to describe those as sort of almost a wave, I think you once said.
Yeah, across the street. I could see it because of the street light that was across the street.
Okay, and that presented at least enough illumination based on your view. You could see the tire tracks in the snow.
Yes, over to the left, yes.
And you've detailed not just the shape of those tire tracks as being sort of like a wave, but where those tire tracks were, correct?
No, like this, yeah.
Where did you see them?
I believe over to the left, if I'm looking out straight. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Straight.
So if you're looking outside at the SUV, I'm just going to turn my back to the jurors for a second for perspective. If you're looking outside the door, when you say straight out, the SUV is straight outside. When you say to the left, you mean to the left of the SUV on the ground. That's where you saw the tire tracks.
Yes.
Like somebody might parallel park or something.
Kind of a wave, yeah. I can't really explain what it was. I just saw it.
You weren't paying special attention. You weren't looking for tire tracks, were you?
No, when I glanced out, I saw it.
You weren't looking for anything in the roadway at that point. You just glanced out. There was something in your peripheral vision, and you made note of it.
Yes.
And the only thing between you and the SUV as you looked out was the lawn.
Correct.
There's no ditches or hills in that lawn. It's a flat lawn, correct?
I wasn't looking at the ground. I was just kind of looking like I am at you
That's
right
not my
now,
question.
straight.
You know that lawn. You've been in that house 100 times, 500 times. There's no ditches or berms or hills or mountains on that lawn. It's just a flat lawn, right?
I guess you could categorize it as flat, yeah.
Can we take a look? May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
If you really will approach, I'm happy to. Okay. Can you take a look at that
Sure.
photograph for a quick second and tell me if you recognize it?
I do, yes.
What do you recognize that as being?
34 Fairview.
That's the same photograph with just a little modification on it that you saw a few minutes ago.
Yes.
Your Honor, I would ask that that be marked as identification.
Okay.
Wish to publish?
Not for identification, no.
I'm happy to move it into evidence.
Your Honor, if I may, if it's marked for identification, I wouldn't object to showing it.
Okay. All right.
It's a chalk at this point.
Okay.
May I publish?
Yes.
Thank you. May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go. Mr. Wall, can you make that? There you go. Thank you. What's depicted in that photograph?
34 Fairview.
Do you see the front door that you went in?
I do, yes.
Can you point it out for the jurors, please?
Sure. Right there.
Okay. The one with the brick steps leading up to it.
Yes.
Now, with this perspective, can you point out the side door?
Sure.
That looks like a screen door just to the right of the hedges.
Yes.
With that perspective, can you point out the garage door?
Or that one. Sorry.
That's just to the right of the window inside that recess of the home?
Yes.
Okay. And does that fairly and accurately depict the lawn as it was on January 28th, 29th, other than the fact that it's different weather?
Right.
The shape of the lawn?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We can take that down, Mr. Wolf.
So what was that marked as, Madam Court Reporter? Thank you.
Your Honor, I would ask to move that in evidence. If we need to take a minute on that, I'm happy to, but that is my request.
Is there an issue?
No, I won't object.
Okay.
46.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes.
The first time you looked out over that lawn to the SUV, you did not see John O'Keefe, did you?
No, I did not.
He was not outside that SUV.
No.
He was not standing or sitting.
Not that I saw.
He certainly wasn't on the ground, was he?
Not that I saw.
The second time you looked out and saw the SUV, now the SUV is more toward the flagpole, correct?
Yes.
And you had a clear field of view between you standing at that door and the SUV. You've already described that view, correct?
I can see the SUV, correct.
Correct. And you could see everything in front of the SUV as well, couldn't you?
I just would go to the door and look at the SUV. I wasn't taking in all the surroundings of.
Right. But just like you weren't taking in the surroundings, specifically looking for tire tracks, and you saw the SUV sitting right in front of you, you saw that through your peripheral vision, you know the tire track.
Yes, and that's lighted where around the SUV it was very dark.
I haven't asked you on lighting yet. We'll get to that.
I'm
You
sorry.
looked for tire tracks, even though you weren't looking for tire tracks, right?
Yes, I did.
Something stood out to you in your peripheral vision. Just looking out. There they are.
Yes, absolutely.
That second time you looked directly at the SUV with no obstruction between you and the SUV, you did not see John O'Keefe standing outside the SUV.
No,
He wasn't sitting down.
no,
He wasn't lying down.
no,
You certainly did not see his body in the snow toward that flagpole.
no.
And you would have been looking directly toward that flagpole, correct? Directly.
I was looking at the vehicle.
Directly toward the flagpole, Miss McCabe.
I was looking in the direction of the flagpole
Right.
at the vehicle. Yes.
Right. And you saw no body in the snow, did you?
I didn't look for a body in the snow.
I didn't ask you if you looked for one. You weren't looking for tire tracks either, were you? But you saw those.
I did see those, yes.
And you did not see a body in the snow.
No, I did not.
John O'Keefe, 6'2", 216 pounds, brawny guy, big boy, right?
I don't think I'd refer to him as a big boy, but he was tall, yes.
All right. You certainly didn't see him prostrate in the snow the way you found him the next morning, correct? Later that morning.
I didn't see anything on the ground, no.
Correct. The third time you looked out toward that SUV, it's still in the direction of the flagpole, but a little further up, a little deeper to the right, correct?
Yes.
Again, looking directly in the direction, at least, of the flagpole and that area of the yard, you were looking beyond that to the SUV, correct?
Yes.
You did not see John O'Keefe standing outside the vehicle?
I did not, no.
He was not sitting outside the vehicle,
No.
and he certainly wasn't lying on the ground, was he?
I didn't see him.
And the last time you looked out, Miss McCabe, this is now 12:45 or so, the last time you looked out, the SUV was gone. Is that right?
Yes.
But you were still looking in that direction because that's the last place you saw the SUV. Is that right?
I looked out the window like this. I wasn't searching anywhere, but just glanced out the window, and I didn't see it.
I'm just asking you a direction. Not whether or not you were searching. I know you didn't see that search party. That's not my question. My question is, were you looking toward the area where you last saw the SUV around 12:45 a.m.?
Yes.
That would be directly across the lawn, directly past the flagpole, and directly into the street where you last saw the SUV, correct?
I glanced out. Yes, correct.
And the same way you glanced out at the SUV, to use your words, glanced out and saw the tire tracks, right?
Correct. Yes.
But you did not see John O'Keefe standing on the lawn.
No.
You did not see him sitting on the lawn.
No.
And you certainly did not see his body lying on the lawn, did you?
No. No, I did not.
Ultimately, you left the location that night, the gathering at 34 Fairview. Is that right? You didn't spend the night there?
No, I went home.
About what time was it that you left the location?
Approximately, it was after 1:30. Approximately 1:30, 1:45.
So this is maybe an hour later, later than what we've just been discussing.
Yes.
Seeing the SUV. Who did you leave with?
I left with my husband, Matt, and Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson.
Who was driving?
Sorry, my husband, Matt, was driving.
And where was Sarah Levinson and Julie Nagel sitting in that SUV?
They were in the back seat.
By the way, what kind of SUV were you in that night?
A Yukon.
Four-door,
yeah,
extended
big-
seating?
Yes.
When the SUV pulled out of the driveway, it was in the driveway?
Yes.
When the SUV backed out of the driveway, doing a three-point turn, backed out of the driveway, did it go toward Chapman or did it go toward Cedar Crest?
It went towards Chapman.
So as you backed out of the driveway, you would have been heading toward the flagpole side of the property rather than back toward the driveway side of the property, correct?
Correct.
And you didn't see him?
You would have driven directly adjacent to the area where John O'Keefe's body was later discovered at 6:04, 6:03 a.m., correct?
Yes, correct.
You were seated in the passenger seat of the vehicle, not the driver's seat.
Correct.
You were seated in the front of the vehicle, not the back seat.
Correct.
And there ain't much
You would have
snow on
been
the ground.
closest to the yard as y'all drove past, correct?
Correct.
That's a newer model Yukon. I'm assuming that the headlights automatically turn on at night.
Yes.
So the headlights were illuminated.
Yes.
Did your husband Matt? Did he turn on the brights, or did he leave the beams on low, or do you know?
I don't know.
But certainly the area in front of that SUV, that Yukon, was well lit.
The lights were on, yes.
You did not see anything out of the ordinary as you drove right by that location, did you?
I was looking in the back seat when we were driving.
Did you see anything out of the ordinary on that lawn as you drove by in that SUV?
No, because I wasn't looking at the lawn.
You certainly did not see John O'Keefe dressed in dark clothing laying prostrate in the lawn.
No, I did not.
You said that you were turned around talking to the other young ladies in the SUV, Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson. Is that right?
Yes.
Probably tell him to
You
shut
indicated
up.
that you were engaged with them about a conversation having to do with bread and maybe peanut butter or something.
Yes.
You didn't, as you passed by that location adjacent to where John's body was later discovered, you didn't hear Julie Nagel say anything out of the ordinary about having seen something.
No.
You didn't hear Sarah Levinson say anything out of the ordinary about having seen something.
No.
And according to you, you were turned around, directly engaged with both these young ladies as you passed by that area where John's body was later discovered. Is that right?
When we pulled out, I turned around and I was talking to them about the bread and the peanut butter. I'm not sure exactly where we were driving, but it was when we pulled out, yes.
You certainly never heard anybody say anything like, what was that, or anything close to that.
No, I didn't.
Hilarious.
I'd like to turn your attention to your arrival back at 34 Fairview just after 6 a.m. the next morning. You indicate that the visibility was relatively poor and that you could not see John O'Keefe on that lawn from your perspective, correct?
The visibility was extremely poor, and no, I could not see him.
You were in the front seat, passenger side.
Yes, I was.
It was Karen Reed who actually saw Mr. O'Keefe, jumped out of the car, and began attending to him immediately, correct?
Karen got out of the car and ran to John O'Keefe.
And you stayed by the car, and Miss Roberts ran over to assist Miss Reed in giving first aid to, at least initially, to Mr. O'Keefe. Is that right?
No, that is not. Carrie got out and walked over, and then I got out and walked over.
You indicated that well, let me ask a different question. Yesterday, you testified in pretty significant detail that when you got out of the car, you could not see anything even close to the flagpole, correct?
Visibility was very bad, yes.
Matter of fact, you used the word whiteout conditions. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
Whiteout conditions, you basically can't see your hand in front of your face.
I wouldn't say that extreme, but I used whiteout as there's just snow coming at you.
You were specifically asked by Mr. Brennan, how close did you have to get before you could actually see anything of note where Miss Reed had gone? Is that right?
Yes.
You testified yesterday that you could see just merely shadowy figures of Miss Reed and Carrie Roberts, and it wasn't until you got very close over to them that you could see John, in your words.
Correct.
As a matter of fact, you followed that up by saying that that was the first moment, once you got basically on top of them, that was the first moment that you realized that it was John, that there was a body on the ground, correct?
I said as I got close to them, I don't think on top of them.
Fair enough. It's my words, not yours. You did say, quote, very close to them, correct?
I'd have to see it, but
Well, you just
it was
testified to it yesterday. And if you remember saying, I get very close to them.
I know I said I had got very close to them or close to them, something like that,
Okay.
yes.
I don't have a transcript of yesterday's testimony, I'm sorry.
Here, I gave you guys.
Last year, you testified to something very different than that, though, didn't you?
No.
Isn't it true that last year you testified that you got out on the passenger side of the vehicle, which is, we'll agree, the furthest side from the lawn, as Ms. Roberts was driving from Chapman toward Crestview, Cedar Crest, correct?
Yes.
You testified that you were on the passenger side, and as you got out of the vehicle, you noted that Karen Reed was already at John. Is that right?
As I got out and walked around the back of the vehicle, the shadowy figure of Karen had already gotten onto something.
The shadow.
You further testified that as you got out of the vehicle, you noted that she straddled John, lifted up his shirt, lifted up her shirt, and went to lay on him. And Miss Roberts went over and said started removing snow from John's face. Correct?
Do I have the page and line number?
Where are you,
Sure.
Mr. Jackson?
May 17, 2024, RT 114, lines 14 to bottom, onto 115, line 4. Is that how you testified last year?
I'm sorry, would you mind just repeating it?
Sure.
Thank you.
You testified in substance that you were on the passenger side of the vehicle, and as you got out, quote, as I got out, end quote, she, Miss Reed, was already at John. You indicated that you saw her straddle him, lift up his shirt, lift up her shirt, and lay on top of him while Miss Roberts went over and removed snow from his face. That's how you testified last year, correct?
Object.
Is that how you testified last year?
I'm not sure. I know.
Next question.
Would it refresh your recollection if you were to look at a copy of your testimony from last year?
I don't think looking at it would refresh my memory. I know I might have used different words, but the bottom line is I got out of the car, went behind the car,
Now what he asked
went
me.
over, and Karen had done that.
Ms. McCabe, I'm asking, do you think it would refresh your, if you don't have a good recollection of how you testified last year on your own, sitting on that witness stand? I'm asking, do you think it would refresh your recollection to see your transcript from last year?
I don't need to see my transcript. I know what I know and I know what I remember. So
That's not my question. I'm not asking what you remember now. I'm asking how you testified a year ago now.
whether I said it was as we're fighting over silly words, whether I said it as I got out of the car, we were there.
Words matter. They matter a lot.
Okay, so remember, Mr. Jackson.
Right? The
no
words
comments.
Karen said,
Ms.
allegedly said matter,
Ms. McCabe, can I answer his questions?
but Jen's don't matter, guys.
Do you remember exactly how it is that you testified last year?
I do not know.
May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you.
You sure do. Peanut. It's so funny. Oh, how's our poll going? Let's see. 64% creamy, 18% crunchy, and 18% backseat peanut butter. Close.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. McCabe, does that refresh your recollection as to how you testified in substance last year?
I see what it says I said, but it's a little bit different than what you stated.
Okay, then let's walk through that. Did you indicate last year that as you got out of the vehicle, that's when you could see what Miss Reed was doing with John O'Keefe, down to the detail of pulling her shirt up and pulling his shirt up to try to go skin to skin?
Convenient.
Why don't I see it sidebar? Why don't you bring it with you, Mr. Jackson, please?
Yes, let's take a sidebar, Judge. Thank you.
5 seconds ago, it was silly little words, and now it's a little bit different than what I said, because now words matter.
Now words matter for me. And words matter because I remember every single thing Karen uttered in chaos. But I don't know what I testified to before.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Words matter when I said
That, and they're like, would it refresh your recollection? I don't need that. Thank you.
I remember what I remember. And when you've
Ugh.
gone through trauma, there are things that I remember. Actually, I feel like I've read something that said during trauma is when like you're most likely to remember a whole lot less.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's what
Afterward.
the paper says,
Well, and then she's all like very vague about what happens before they leave the house. But then the morning puts together a freaking timeline.
Mhm.
But you're super vague on what happened before. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about all this.
Bestie.
Okay.
Ms. McCabe, is it true that you had the following colloquy last year on this subject? Answer,
Agreed.
I was on the passenger side, so as I got out, she was already at John. Question, so she gets out and essentially makes a beeline over to where John was. Answer, correct. Question, and you're getting out of the passenger side, and by the time you come around the car, she's already there. Answer, yes. Question, and when she gets over there, what, if anything, could you see at that point? Answer, she straddles John and lifts up his shirt, and then she lifted up her shirt and went to lay on him, and Miss Roberts went over and she was removing the snow from his face. Is that how you testified last year?
Yes, that's how I answered the questions.
Okay. Clearly, you didn't indicate last year that it was whiteout conditions, you could see nothing of the kind, and you had to get, quote unquote, very close to him before you could see anything, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. It's the first word that's problematic, Mr. Johnson.
Yesterday, you testified that it was whiteout conditions. You had to leave the car, walk all the way over and get, quote unquote, very close to John before you recognized that it was even a body. Is that right?
Yes.
But last year, you testified that you were still at the car when you noted the detail of Karen basically giving life-saving aid to John. You can see that clearly, all the way from the car, right?
Objection.
Is that what you said, Ms. McCabe?
No.
Is there a reason, Ms. McCabe, that you might wish to improve your testimony this year than last year, over last year, with regard to the distance that you could see Ms. Reed engaged with Mr. O'Keefe?
No.
Are you trying to suggest or improve your testimony to suggest that you had no idea that there was a body there and nobody reasonably could have even seen the body there as you drove up?
Objection.
Is that what you're trying to say, Ms. Reed?
Ms. McCabe.
McCabe.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Not sure. I'll give it a shot.
I'm sorry.
Are you trying to improve your testimony this year over last year to suggest that reasonably nobody could have seen where John was from the car.
I'm not trying to improve my testimony now.
You claimed on direct examination today, as a matter of fact, that Miss Reed looked at you at the scene and said the phrase, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him." She said it 3 times, very distinctly, according to your testimony, correct?
She did, yes.
That was so impactful that it had the effect of putting you in some sort of shock and horror. Is that right?
I was in shock the whole morning, but that statement definitely was a lot.
And that's an incredibly memorable statement for you to have heard and now recount to us in this trial, correct?
Correct.
Something that you wouldn't easily forget or overlook. Is that right?
Something I wouldn't.
Something you would not easily
Correct.
forget or overlook. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
As a matter of fact, some might say it's the centerpiece of your testimony.
Objection.
Sustained.
Ms. McCabe, you testified at a grand jury in April of 2022, did you not?
I did, yes.
Before you testified, you took an oath, very much like the oath that you took before you testified in this case, correct?
Correct.
You swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, correct?
Correct.
And that included the whole truth at the state grand jury, correct?
Correct.
That was only weeks, several weeks, but weeks after this incident, right? April 26th versus January 29th, 2022. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Things were much fresher in your mind then than they are now.
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Especially something as momentous as an admission from my client that she hit him. Would you agree?
Would I agree that she said that?
Would you agree that that would be fresh in your mind? Something as momentous as that. You wouldn't forget that.
I will never forget it.
You wouldn't overlook that.
I will never forget it.
You would not overlook that either, would you, Ms. McCabe?
I answer the questions I'm asked.
Can you answer the question that I just asked? You're not answering my question. Would you overlook that?
No.
And the reason you wouldn't overlook it is because it was so impactful on you, having heard that. Not once, not twice, 3 times. I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Is that right?
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a look at that document and tell me if you recognize it.
Yes, I see it.
Is that a transcript of your entire testimony at the grand jury in April of 2022?
I believe so, yes.
You've reviewed it in the past?
I have read it about a year ago, yes.
You read it in anticipation of your testimony a year ago, correct?
Yes, I reviewed it.
Have you reviewed it in preparation for your testimony today?
No, I haven't.
Yesterday. Ms. McCabe, turn to the page or pages in that transcript where you recount to the grand jurors that my client said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
This is over 227 pages.
Take your time.
How long did you say it was, Ms. McCabe?
Take your time.
227?
Take your time. We got all day,
me.
meal.
Read 227 pages.
Why not,
You
Bev?
reviewed it before, haven't you?
I reviewed it a year ago, yes.
You read the whole thing cover to cover, didn't you?
I skimmed through it.
One of the most important points in your testimony yesterday and today is recounting these jurors the phrase, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Is that right?
Objection.
To the form of that, I'm sustaining it.
Was it important to you to tell these jurors that you heard my client say, I hit him 3 times?
I answered the questions, and I'm telling the
Was
jurors
it-
what I know.
Was it important to you before testifying today that you recount to these jurors the phrase, I hit him, coming out of my client's mouth?
Your client said she hit him, yes.
That's not my question. Listen to my question, Ms. McCabe.
I'm sorry.
Was it important to you before you testified to tell these jurors under oath that my client said, I hit him 3 times?
As a witness, it's important to tell the truth and to answer the question you were asked.
And in point of fact, in your entire grand jury testimony, you never said, my client said the words, I hit him, did you?
Again, it's 227 pages.
Answer the question.
Ms. McCabe, you were there. They're your words. I'm not asking you to rehearse something. You were there. Did you tell the grand jurors that my client said I hit him?
I have testified a number of times, but I was there the morning of January 29th when your client said I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
Did you tell that to the grand jurors?
I'm not sure.
It's because you didn't, did you?
Again, I'm not sure.
Ms. McCabe, you were asked line 4.
You're gonna learn today.
What did you tell the grand jurors my client said in that answer?
Foundation.
What are we talking about?
I'll ask it a different way. Did you answer a question on page 192, line 4, concerning my client's statement?
Did I answer a question?
You were answering a question, correct?
Oh, yes, yes.
All right.
I'm sorry.
And the answer that you gave to the grand jurors was, she said, could I have hit him? Correct?
Yes, that's part of the answer I gave.
Turn to page 193.
I'd object.
So I don't want to have to see it sidebar. We need context in order for this to be admissible, Mr. Jackson. I have no idea what that said.
Your Honor, everyone,
What the answer
I can make an offer of proof at sidebar, if you
Okay,
wish.
why don't you come to sidebar?
Sure.
And bring them.
Now, we watch a lot of trials, okay? It is not very often that you see a witness, especially a civilian witness, glance over at the prosecutor, waiting for them to object. You know why? Because they don't know how that process works. But boy, is she ready to know, like, wanting him to object. And, yeah, sorry, I gotta get rid of this. Music for YouTube. What? Oh my goodness. She does not. I'm here to answer questions truthfully. Then answer the effing question. You're muted, Buff. You're muted.
But she's
Was
popping
she-
off nonetheless.
I will yell at the wall.
You do it, girl. That's what we're here for. I love it.
Oh my God.
You guys.
A witness is here to answer the questions.
Right? And
Sorry.
some of them are simple, like yes or no's. And she's just so
Oh
combative
my
about
God.
it. It's
What?
crazy.
She knows because she knows she didn't say it.
Mhm.
She said, "Did I hit him? Did I hit him? Could I have hit him? But not I hit him." And she knows that that's going to make her look like a liar, so she doesn't want to say it.
I've been waiting for the testimony of when they left the house, which way they went. And I cannot wait to talk about that later. Because ain't no way.
On page 192, line 4, for context, were you talking about a statement that was made in Karen's car on that morning before you got to the scene?
192.
192, line 4.
Yes, that was a comment she made in the car.
And she said the phrase, you recounted that she said the phrase, could I have hit him? Correct?
Yes, that was part of my answer.
Take a look at page 193, line 1 through 2. This was also in the context of a conversation that was in Karen's car, correct?
Yes.
And the phrase that you attributed to my client was, could I have hit him? The question, correct?
Yes.
Page 193, line 23. In the context of being in John's driveway at One Meadows,
Yes.
and you attributed the statement, and she's asking if she could have hit him, correct?
Yes, when she showed me her taillight.
Page 201, lines 23 and 24. This is driving to Fairview. She asked, what if I hit him? Could I have hit him? Correct?
Can you tell me the lines?
I'm sorry, lines 23 and 24. Page 201.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I've read it.
She stated, according to you, what if I hit him? Could I have hit him? Correct?
Yes, she did.
Page 202, top of the page, line 1 and 2. Again, in context, this is driving to Fairview before you arrived at Fairview. And she again asked, quote, according to you and your testimony in front of the grand jury, could I have hit him? Correct?
Yes, I see that here as part of my answer.
Then turn to page 208, lines 24 and 25.
Agreed, Annie.
I'm sorry, what lines 24 and 25?
Lines 24 and 25, let me know when you've
I've read them, thank
reviewed
you.
those. For context, this is at the scene, outside Fairview.
Yes.
And you told those grand jurors under oath, she asked, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Correct?
Yes.
On page 208, lines 24 and 20, I'm sorry, 208 and 209, going on to page 209, lines 1 through 3. You actually recounted to the grand jurors a conversation that you said my client had with a female EMT standing right there, exactly as you testified to today. Female EMT. You see that?
I do, yes.
And what did you say my client's statements were in front of that female EMT?
In this, I say that she said, could I have hit him? Is he dead?
It's actually, did I hit him?
Oh, sorry, I missed that part. I apologize. Did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Is he dead? Is he dead? Is he dead?
And that was at the scene in front of the female EMT, exactly the scene that you're describing. You attributed the 3 statements to my client to today, right?
There was many different times when we were talking to different EMTs, the female EMT, the men, the police officers.
May I approach?
Yes.
Yeah, just vote, Your Honor.
Sure.
Ms. McCabe, your full statement at page 208, starting at lines 22 through 25, going on to page 209, down to line 4, was, quote, so there are different, police officers getting statements from us. And at one point I'm standing with Miss Reed and she's saying, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? And there was, I believe, an EMT, a female, standing right next to me listening to her yelling, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Is he dead? Is he dead? Is he dead? It was pretty much nonstop. That was your testimony in front of the grand jurors, correct?
Yes, it was.
And that was April 26th, 2022, correct?
Correct.
Not one time. Not one time, Ms. McCabe, did you utter the phrase, I hit him, as it relates to my client in front of that grand jury on April 26th, 2022, did you? Not once.
I'd have to read through the 227 pages to see.
As you sit here today, do you remember ever saying to those grand jurors, she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, in front of a female EMT?
I've spoken to in a few grand juries. What I said specifically at different ones, I don't recall at this moment, but I do know that morning your client said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him 3 times, and there was a female EMT there.
Elbow pizza. I should have him go pick me up some
You spoke with
booze.
Trooper Proctor just the same day, right? January 29th.
Yes.
Trooper Proctor was taking notes
Yes.
about your conversation?
Yes, he was.
You reviewed those notes, as a matter of fact, at some point.
I didn't review his notes. I think I've seen a report at one point or another.
On that very day, January 29th, 2022, when you were asked to recount what happened at the scene, who was doing what and who said what, you never told Trooper Proctor that my client said, I hit him either, did you?
Oh, I told him. Yes, I did.
He just leave that out of his report?
I'm not responsible for his report.
No, you're not. But you have read his report.
So again, no comments, Mr. Jackson.
You have read his report, right?
I have seen it before, yes.
We love having you here, rest assured.
Yeah,
You are one of us for
Yes.
sure. We're always out of context. Don't even worry about it. Happy to have you. That'll probably be the name
Thank
of
you.
our after show. Out of
You looked at that
context.
report for another particular this morning. Do you still recognize it?
Yes, I do.
Can you review that report, scan it, and let me know when you're done?
Okay, is there something specific I should be looking for?
I don't think you're going to find it, Ms. McCabe. It's for, I hit him.
So again, jurors disregard the comments. So it's question answer format only.
My question is, do you see the phrase, I hit him, as it's attributable to my client in that report?
Objection.
System.
Why?
Do you recall telling Trooper Proctor that my client said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him?
Objection.
Do you recall that?
Yes, I told him.
He was taking notes at the time.
He was taking notes, correct?
Those notes ended up being memorialized in a formal report.
I'm assuming he,
The report that you're holding.
I object.
Sustained.
Does that appear to be a report of the January 29th, 11:35 or so a.m. interview that you did with Trooper Proctor?
Yes, it does.
You said you reviewed that report in the past,
Yes, in the past.
and you're aware in no place in that report does the phrase "I didn't show up" anywhere, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Can I approach?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm the first witness. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm being vague. I was just grabbing the report back. Sorry.
They very much plan
May I have
on
just a moment,
using
Your
her
Honor?
for the whole day. They're not going to let her go. That way they can come back tomorrow and be like, bam.
I want to draw your attention to the very early morning hours of January 29th, around 4:53 a.m. when you indicated you received that phone call from Kaylee's phone. Do you have that time and date in mind?
Yes, I do.
My client told you that John had not come home, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that Miss Reed at that point was awake and looking for John.
I didn't know what, I just knew that she was awake and screaming.
Right, because she was worried about where John was.
Objection.
Sustained.
You've been asked who you communicated with first thing that morning after you received that first call from Miss Reed, is that right?
Yes.
You were asked by Trooper Prince in her formal interview. Trooper Prince interviewed you on February 1st, about 3 days after the incident, correct?
I've met with a lot. I don't really remember specific days.
Do you remember a female trooper?
Yes, I do, actually.
In your house?
Yes.
Or I should say at your house?
Yes.
That was around 3 days after the incident?
Was it Tuesday, maybe? Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
I think so, yes, if
Okay.
it's the one I'm thinking.
You were also asked at the same grand jury who you communicated with on the morning of January 29th.
Okay.
You remember that?
Not specifically.
Would it refresh your recollection if we were to take a look at that, a specific page of that grand jury transcript?
Sure.
Sure. I'm not going to answer your question anyway, but sure. Fine. Oh, yes, Terry. Oh, yes.
Do you need a couple of minutes, Mr. Jackson?
I do, Your Honor.
So, jurors, why don't you stand up and stretch, okay?
All right, everybody do their stretches.
You can too, Ms. McCabe, if you want to.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my goodness, this woman. You guys are right. She is something else. I mean, I know she's not as, like...
Mr. Jackson, do you want a 5-minute recess?
Sure. Come on, yes.
We're still going to stop at 4, so really 5 minutes, folks. We'll have you go back and come back.
So like an actual 5 minutes.
An actual 5 minutes, please. Oh, my goodness, this woman. Oh, boy. She doesn't want to answer shit.
No, she does. She doesn't want to give him the satisfaction. She doesn't want to admit that, like, she's not. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Like, I know your memory is going to be fuzzy, right? At different points in times, you're not going to remember everything, but just remember they put together a timeline, her and Carrie and whomever, and she's so certain of what specific things were being said in chaos. And by the way, if she could just stop being like, well, Karen was screaming, and then called her a
really
shadowy
bothers her.
figure.
She's right. It's shadowy figures. Like it's.
What are you even saying? What are you
Ma'am.
even saying?
Man.
Chad, what do you think about Jim McCabe? You guys have had some spicy comments. I love it. And hilarious ones, because we have a hilarious chat, guys. So if you're just watching, you can pull up a chat and talk with other people watching at the same time, and they're pretty friendly. Also, if you haven't yet, please like this video. Thank Thank you. So back to this. So they are definitely keeping her all day.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have her on cross tomorrow.
And even if there's gonna be a redirect, and then
yes.
probably a recross.
Oh yes.
So it's probably most of the day tomorrow too. Oh, if there's court tomorrow, somebody said it wasn't court tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
I'm not trying to start a rumor, but I'm just saying that's what I heard.
Kelly P did say she heard that there wasn't court tomorrow. So she said law day. I don't know what that means.
It's lar.
Lar
day. I saw it's lar day. Lar.
That would stink. If they didn't have court tomorrow, the one day that Amy's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, because tomorrow's Thursday.
Well, I mean
That's true.
That could be good. That could be good if they don't, because then they have all of tomorrow to go over testimony.
It would be good for defense. Horrible for Amos, because Amos is so excited she gets to be on with us tomorrow because she's on vacation. And normally she works.
And she packed a whole computer.
She packed up her whole computer, you guys. Not a laptop. No.
Oh
her
my
desktop,
gosh.
tower, monitor, camera, microphone, everything. Because we love her. It is a law day.
Law.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but okay.
I don't know what that means. I don't know.
Like, by law day, do you mean like the jury's not coming in? Or what? I'm sure they'll tell us at the end, hopefully. Oh, gosh. Let's see. I think that's a holiday for them. Okay. Terry says she's better this trial, but is still a mess. I mean, she's still messy. F this trial. Yeah, we'll figure something out, Amy. Well, maybe we'll still just get together and do something. Well, maybe we can if there's no court tomorrow, maybe what we can do, you guys, is watch Jen McCabe's testimony from last time.
Oh.
Maybe.
We can rewatch, react.
Oh.
Right? Maybe we can do that. Or maybe somebody can like pull.
Not if Annie's in labor.
Clips together.
Did you see that?
I did. I saw your face.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy, girl. Oh boy.
If
and
not, we're live streaming from the hospital.
There's no court tomorrow, so we need you, Annie.
If that happens, I blame Terry 100%.
Why?
Because she's been like, just do it on camera.
Oh.
Like, get the view. Look, yes.
Do it for the clicks.
It's all about that. Let's see. Where was I here? Belle says during her testimony, she had her blink rate went way up and she started fidgeting with her hair, etc. I did see a few times where like she closed her eyes while rolling her eyes. Have you guys ever done that? Where like they like flicker a little bit. I don't know if I can even do it. Oh, look at that. Kelly had already suggested that a few minutes ago. Thank you, Kelly. Great minds think alike, right? That's why we're all
She's
here.
like, I'm not going to scream at this man in public in front of all these people. I'm not going to do it.
Polly says, oh, I don't think she ever told the full truth, which is why she can't keep anything straight from trial to trial and why she has to memorize damn answers. Yeah, it's...
I agree.
Tomorrow's May Day. Is there like a holiday book where everybody knows all these holidays that I don't know what they... We don't do any of this in Ohio, so I don't know. Let's see. Some people say that's a great idea. I'm thinking it's about watching testimony. I don't know why. Got a song in my head. Or maybe they were talking about birth streaming. I don't know.
Oh dear.
Let's see.
So that won't be happening.
Oh
man.
Oh, so yeah. So okay. Okay. You're telling me they back out of this driveway. All right. And I'm glad he brought up that it's a new car, because every new freaking car, especially the big SUVs and trucks, have those a-hole LED headlights where you can't see anything. Right. And you know this car probably had that too. Right. So they're backing out. Right. Driveway. They're backing out this way and then going this way. And here's John's body right here. Right here. And not even the driver saw that while they're turning. Remember, that beam of light is going to span the whole part of the yard into the street as they're backing up. And then she wants to say, "Oh, I was talking to the people in the back seat." Oh, but when we were looking for John, you had your eyes peeled everywhere. Like, I think that's a load of crap. And I just don't see how you don't see somebody in that kind of vehicle, because you're also up higher off the ground, right? So your beams are going to spread more and go further.
But she wasn't looking for a body.
She seems to know everything else.
I just thought it was funny when she was like, "Well, I wasn't looking for a body," and he's like, "Well, you weren't looking for tire tracks either."
So
and I was
snarky.
like,
yes. That, and she said she looked out the door several times and saw the car, but didn't see the car. Because by 1:30, when they left at 1:30, maybe an inch was on the ground. And that's being generous because it's light snow. So I doubt it was even an inch by an hour and a half.
But
Ma'am.
In an hour when she left, there wouldn't have, the body would not have been covered by snow.
You want to know why she says she didn't see John when they were pulling out? Because they're all drunk as fuck. Okay? So if they say, "Oh, I didn't see it because I was drunk," guess what? Everything you then have to say that night doesn't matter. It's out the window. It's out the window.
Selective eyesight.
Selective eyesight. It must be amazing. It must be like their selective memory, right? It gets better over time.
Yeah,
in Massachusetts.
Kids, you didn't see that. You didn't see that.
Right.
I totally saw that.
Oh boy, she's something. But see, you can't be like, "Oh, I'm the person who remembers all the details," and then be like, "Oh, I don't remember those details."
I remember the details that I want to remember.
And she says she testified in numerous grand juries. Was there more than one grand jury for this?
I don't know.
Because they wouldn't need a grand jury. They wouldn't need a grand jury, I don't think, to bring the second trial. I could be wrong about that, but I don't believe you need a grand jury to, when it's a hung jury, a mistrial. You don't need them again to do it. And they arrested her shortly.
What would have been the federal grand jury?
Oh,
that would have been for what?
I don't know, but that could be what she's referring to.
A federal grant, but that would have been for federal charges. But what were the federal charges?
But nobody got any. Well, I mean,
unless it's
you only get charges if the grand jury says yes. So,
right, and you got state grand jury, which they obviously said yes to the second degree. But what would be the other one?
I don't know.
What federal charges would they be bringing?
Good question.
Ms. McCabe, I want to draw your attention back to the morning, later in the morning, after you're back at 34 Fairview, after the police have already cleared the scene, and you're back with your friends and family inside the home at 34 Fairview. We've already talked about the fact that the witnesses were not sequestered in any way, they were not separated in any way by the police. Is that right?
We were just sitting together with friends and family. So yeah, no.
Everybody was free. All the friends and family that were in there were free to talk amongst themselves, which you did do, correct?
Yes.
All right. Everybody had the opportunity to say their piece and to listen to others say their piece as well.
We had conversations. It wasn't really nothing more than that.
At some point you did, I think you mentioned this on direct examination, you did reach out to Mike Lank. Is that right?
Yes.
Remind us who Mike Lank is in your world, in addition to being a Canton police officer, a police sergeant, I think he was at the time. Who is he in your world?
He was just a local guy that I, knew, was friendly with.
And had gone to high school with?
No.
Was he ahead of you in high school?
We weren't in high school at the same time.
Got it. He was about 5 years ahead of you, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. But you'd known him, or known of him, from basically childhood or young adulthood.
Yeah, just knew him from around town.
At some point, you decided that you were going to call Sergeant Lank back to the scene because there was a piece of information that you wanted to provide him again. Sorry, provide him so he needed to come back again.
Yes,
Ultimately, you called him on his cell phone, right?
I did, yes.
So you were close enough that you had his cell phone number, he had your cell phone number.
No, I didn't have his cell phone number.
Where'd you get that number?
I asked Julie Albert for that number.
So Julie had his cell phone number.
Yes, she did.
And Julie is Chris's wife?
Yes,
She was at the location?
yes,
When I say the location, 34 Fairview that morning?
yes.
As was Chris.
He came at some point. I don't know if he was there when I called Officer Lank or not.
As was Brian Higgins, correct?
Yes, he was.
He came back over to the location as well.
Yes, he did.
As a matter of fact, it was Brian Higgins who suggested that you reach out to Officer Lank.
I'm not sure if it was him who suggested it.
Someone suggested to you that you reach out to Officer Lank, is that right?
As I was sitting there remembering things, I believe, I can't say who did or didn't.
So as you were sitting there remembering things, you weren't just remembering things, you were remembering things and then telling others things that you remembered.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Yes.
others were absorbing whatever information you were providing to them and vice versa.
No one was really providing me any information because they didn't know what happened.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just sitting there trying to recount what had transpired since I got that 4:53 phone call.
And one of the
She has
things
the
that you
time
decided
stamp for it.
you wanted to tell Sergeant Lank was a statement by my client.
Yes,
So you call Sergeant Lank on his cell phone, and you're able to get a hold of him, correct?
yes.
Whatever he's doing, I'm guessing he was busy at the time.
I don't know what he was doing.
He was the first responder on a definite police officer case that was just hours old. So he had to have been busy.
I would assume. I, again, don't know what he was doing.
But in fact, after you got your phone call, you dropped everything and headed back to 34 Fairview, correct?
Yes.
Did he come back to 34 Fairview quickly?
He was there fairly quickly, yes, I would
And
say.
that's at your request.
Yes, I called him and asked him to come back.
Because you told him that you had information that was important enough that he needed to get over there so you could tell him in person what this new information was.
I called him and told him that I was remembering things and asked if he could come back.
And he didn't just say, yeah, just tell me what it is over the phone. He literally said, okay, I'm going to get in my car, drive in a blizzard. There's still a blizzard, right?
Yes, it was.
I'm going to get all my gear on, drive in a blizzard back over to 34 Fairview, get out of my cruiser, come into the house, and get ready for this new information that you're going to give me. Correct?
He did not say all that, no.
No, that's what he did.
I have no idea what he did. I called him and then he came.
Well, he didn't walk over. I mean, he came over his car, right?
I would assume so, yes.
Right. So he had to get his car, drive over to a blizzard, get out of the car, walk through the blizzard, go to the front door, and get ready for this new meeting that he's going to have, correct?
Yes, that seems like steps one would take.
And whatever it was that you wanted to tell him, you let him know it was important enough to have a special additional meeting. It wasn't something that you were just going to sit on. You wanted to give him this information immediately without hesitation, correct?
He said if I remembered anything to give him a call, so I did.
So when he came back over, he obviously had a notepad and a pen in his hand, correct?
I believe he was taking notes.
And you told him, you testified this morning that what you told him was Karen Reed said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, right?
Correct.
But when he wrote this report, you said, she said, I hope I didn't hit him. Correct?
I don't have his report in front of me.
Yeah, just one minute.
Yes.
It's getting so noisy.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You could turn to the orange tab. Do you see that?
I do, yes.
Okay, and you've had a chance to read it?
Just the highlighted
Okay.
part.
May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you. In fact, what you told Officer Lank was something to the effect of, I hope I didn't hit him. Correct?
Incorrect. I told him that she said I hit him.
He wrote in his report, that you just read, something to the effect of,
Sustained.
I hope I didn't hit him.
Sustained.
Is this another example of an officer getting a report wrong?
Objection.
Is that report right?
Your Honor. Objection.
Sustained. Move on, Mr. Jackson.
I hope I didn't hit him, or something to the effect of, I hope I didn't hit him. Sounds an awful lot like, could I have hit him?
Oh,
Could I
yeah,
hit
for
him?
sure.
Do you agree with that?
It does sound similar, yeah.
You testified yesterday that during that first phone call, that first phone conversation with Ms. Reed at 4:53 a.m., she told you, according to your testimony, that in that phone call, in that very first phone call, Ms. Reed said she had gotten into a fight, her taillight was cracked, and she asked, could I have hit him or did I hit him? Correct?
Incorrect.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
The first phone call, she had said we got into a fight and he didn't come home and I left him at the waterfall. In the second phone call, once I told her that I saw her outside of my sister's house on Fairview, that is when she said, could she have hit him, and talked about her taillight.
So, 2 hours after Ms. Reed found John O'Keefe and began giving him CPR, you were interviewed by Sergeant Sean Good, correct?
Objection.
Ask the question differently, Mr. Jackson.
2 hours after Ms. Reed found Mr. O'Keefe, about 2 hours later, say 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, after the scene was cleared, you were interviewed by Sean Good, were you not?
Objection.
Sustained.
May we approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
No, Polly, I don't believe we've gotten into that. I did miss an hour today, so maybe, but Annie says no. And she's been here the whole time. So, where's the Jen?
Oof. That color looks good on her.
It
really
does. I love the color of that suit. I like the color of Jen's shirt too. I'd wear that shirt. It's comfy.
It does.
Why this objection? I am not sure. Hold on, I gotta get that before the music starts playing.
I know I was talking earlier and it was playing and I couldn't hear it, but other people were like, can you mute it?
Whoops. That's weird. That's weird. Yeah, so Proctor didn't write the thing down. The officer who came to see her also in the middle of a blizzard, which is strange.
Yeah. I would say no. We can talk over the phone.
Yeah.
You can come in later in the week, write down, no.
Unless it's like, I got a video of it happening. Like,
Yeah.
what is even...
Then I might, but even then I'd be like, email it or text it. Like,
yeah. Like, blizzard, keep as many people off the road, and you might be busy with other stuff. Oh, go faster, mouse.
While you were at the scene, after Miss Reed had been giving CPR, Sean Good interviewed you, correct?
I don't remember a formal interview with Sean Good.
Do you remember talking to him?
When he arrived at the scene, I do remember briefly talking to him after all three of us gave John CPR.
And he asked you certain questions about what you'd seen, what you'd heard, what had happened, correct?
I have to tell you that I remember seeing him there and I remember talking to him, but I do not remember specifics of any conversation or any questions that he asked me.
Do you remember him do you remember him asking you about any initial calls you had and you telling him about that 4:53 call and the early morning calls thereafter? The initial calls before you met up with Miss Reed?
I don't recall.
Did you tell Sergeant Good, by the way, he was a sergeant at the time. Sean Good was a sergeant, not an officer?
I'm not sure.
Okay. By the way, you knew Sergeant Good, did you not?
I didn't know him. I knew of him, like I knew his name, but that was it.
How'd you know of him before that day?
Because his sister is a year or two younger than me, and I knew she had a brother that was younger, that was a Canton cop, just flew the town, but I didn't know him.
Okay, friendly but not friends.
I wouldn't even say I was friendly with him.
Okay.
Were you on a first-name basis, though? Vicky.
You actually told Sergeant Good at the time when he asked about those first phone calls that when Miss Reed called you, she was inquiring about John's whereabouts, correct?
Again, I don't recall my conversations with Sean Good.
You certainly never mentioned to Sergeant Good the incessant screaming and hysteria that you've described here in court.
Objection.
Did you ever mention anything about an argument or a fight to Sean Good?
Objection.
Sustained, Mr. Jackson. She said she didn't remember. Next question.
I have to go through the series of machinations. I don't know what she remembers and doesn't remember.
Next question, Mr. Jackson.
Did you mention anything about a cracked taillight to Sergeant Good?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you have no memory at all about what you talked to Sergeant Good about?
There were many officers there,
Right.
and like I said, I know I talked to Sergeant Good, but I do not remember the specifics of my conversation during that chaotic scene.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Let me ask a different
This
question.
is garbage.
There were many officers there, and many officers were asking you questions, correct?
Correct.
Did you did you tell any officer while at the scene that during those first few phone calls, first couple of phone calls with Miss Reed, that there was incessant screaming and hysteria?
Again, there were many officers asking me questions. Most of them were regarding who John was, if he had medical issues or concerns, things like that.
Right.
It was a chaotic scene. I don't remember any specific questions about phone calls. I apologize.
But you did tell at least one officer about the initial phone call that you received indicating that John may be missing, correct?
I possibly said I got a phone call and that's why I'm here. We all came out to look for him. I apologize for not remembering specifics.
Did you tell any officer at the scene anything about an argument or fighting that Miss Reed said occurred on that first couple of phone calls?
Again, the conversations were very brief and they were with a lot of different officers. There wasn't
yes or no?
in-depth conversations.
yes or no?
Let her answer the question.
Do you recall, that is a yes or no question, do you recall telling any officer about a conversation in the initial couple of phone calls that you had with Miss Reed about fighting or being in an argument? Do you recall that?
I cannot answer yes or no.
Why?
Well, you either do or you don't. If you don't,
I said
just say
there
you
was
don't.
many different conversations. I am not sure.
So you don't recall?
I'm not sure on specific conversations about that. I apologize.
Is there a reason why you're not telling us that you simply don't recall making that statement?
Sustained.
Do you recall telling any officer about a cracked taillight that came up in one of those first two phone calls?
At the scene,
At the scene.
again, I think all the conversations were about what was happening in the present time.
And literally, this was a couple of hours after this incident, correct? When everything was freshest in your mind.
These conversations were at the scene when Miss Reed was running around screaming.
Were you also interviewed by Officer Mullaney?
Again, there were many officers there that I spoke to.
Ms. McCabe, do you understand my question?
Oh, I think she does.
Did you understand the last question I asked?
If I spoke to an officer, Mulaney?
Correct.
Again, I could have. I am not sure. I don't remember every officer. It was a chaotic scene. I had just found my friend on the ground.
So the answer is, I don't remember. Correct?
I don't remember speaking to him. No, sorry.
Later that morning, you did have a conversation with Officer Lank that you actually do remember, correct?
Yes, correct.
What you told Officer Lank, or Sergeant Lank, was that you received a phone call from Kaylee's phone and that Karen Reed was distraught because John never came home, correct?
I told him she was, I don't remember the exact words, but I told him something like she was hysterical and screaming and said John never came home.
You never mentioned that she said anything about a fight during that initial phone call, correct?
Again, I'm not sure what exactly was said during that initial phone call.
You never mentioned that she said something about a cracked taillight in that initial phone call, or those two phone calls, correct?
Are these phone calls with who? Who are these phone calls? Who am I speaking to
The
at this
initial
point?
phone calls that you had with Miss Reed,
Yes.
you never mentioned to Officer Lank, or Sergeant Lank, that Miss Reed mentioned anything about a fight or an argument, correct?
I don't remember.
You never mentioned anything about having Miss Reed saying anything about a cracked taillight in one of those two initial phone calls, correct?
Again, I don't remember all the things that I told Officer Lank.
And you certainly never mentioned that Miss Reed said anything about could I have hit him in either of those initial phone calls, correct?
Again, I don't remember my specific conversation with Officer Lank.
But she remembers everything else.
Everything.
So you don't remember the conversation that you had with Officer Lank when it was the clear light of day, you had had a chance to take a beat and a breath, catch your breath, because it's now 11:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. You don't remember anything about that conversation, but according to your testimony, you remember in detail what my client said, waking you out of a dead sleep, correct?
So I didn't speak to him at 11:30. It was earlier in the morning when he came back to Fairview.
Let's call it 9 o'clock, whatever.
Okay.
Right? Whatever. It wasn't the same chaos as my client screaming into the phone that John never came home, waking you out of a dead sleep, correct?
Correct.
But when you recounted that conversation or those conversations to Sergeant Lank, you didn't say a thing about Miss Reed saying that there had been an argument, did you?
I'm saying I don't remember the specifics of my conversation with Officer Lank. I'm also saying that I was woken up out of a dead sleep. Karen showed up at my house screaming. I went out to help her look for John. And then we found one of my closest friends on the front lawn. And she was saying crazy things and acting crazy and
Ms. McCabe,
acting
that's not my
erratic.
question.
And so every
Ms. McCabe,
police
that is
officer
not my
that I
question.
spoke to,
Let her finish.
Oh, my
every police
goodness
officer
gracious.
that I spoke to, I tried to answer their questions the best I could. It took me hours and in some cases days to remember all the things that Miss Reed had said. My mind, I was in a state of shock. But the minute I remembered, she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
Okay.
I called Officer Lank.
And your memory is getting better even as we sit here today, correct?
There are certain things I will never forget, Mr. Jackson.
Including the fact that you never, ever, ever said, she said the words I hit him to a grand jury when you were asked about it 3 months after the incident. Correct?
She said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit
You
him.
never told that to the grand jury, did you?
I don't remember specifically that every grand jury and everything I said, but I can tell you with 100% accuracy, she screamed, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
And you never said that to the grand jurors.
I don't recall if I
You were
did.
there to get the truth, correct?
I don't know anything I said.
The truth is, she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
You were
Bev
asked
allowing
that
this crap
specific
through?
question at the grand jury.
Ridiculous.
What did she say at the scene in front of the female EMT? And you know what your answer was? You do, because you just read it.
I wasn't asked what she was said at
What
the
was the
scene.
answer to that question?
I'm objecting.
The objection sustained. Ask one more clear question, Mr. Jackson.
What was the answer you gave in answer to the question about what was said by Miss Reed to the EMT, the female EMT at the scene? What did you say she said?
I don't know if I was asked specifically what she said to a female EMT.
All right, we're going to end this now.
Your Honor, may I have one more question?
Go ahead.
I can't end it like this. You said
Okay,
she
jurors,
said-
ignore the comments of counsel. Ask one question, Mr. Jackson.
You said that she said, could I have hit him? Did I hit him in the presence of the female EMT? That's what you testified to under oath at the grand jury, isn't it?
Yes, because she also said that.
All right. So, folks, we are done for today. You remember tomorrow is the day that we're not in session. So we will see you Friday. Friday is a full day. And I have to give you those questions. You can stay and file out after the jurors dismissed. Please do not discuss this case with anyone. Don't do any independent research or investigation
I'm gonna discuss
into the case. If you happen to see, hear, or read about the case, please disregard it and let us know, and be very careful with your social media. Have a great night, a good day off tomorrow. We'll see you on Friday. Thank you.
Have a good day off tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Sorry,
I love
Amos.
the AI voice. Goodbye. Everything.
Okay. She
Really, that's not
objected
just in case I come
to,
back,
she
but-
sustained every freaking objection.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Some of them I don't understand why, to be quite honest. I mean,
me either.
I was like, okay.
Cap, no.
Oh boy, Jen McCabe. She was getting angry there at the end, wasn't she? Oh.
Yeah.
And you know he's gonna come back tomorrow morning, just
They're off
guns
tomorrow,
a
right?
blazing. Well, I'm sorry, Friday. Even he's gonna come back even. Oh no! Oh no! That's right. I know we just talked about this, but I forgot because I don't have Jen McCabe's memory that remembers everything, except for what I wanted to remember.
Yeah.
I remember
Nothing
everything
you
Karen Reed
said.
says, but nothing I say in my own consciousness.
That
That's
is
so
such,
interesting.
oh my goodness.
Yes, they will be here
I
all
don't-
day Friday.
I won't be here Friday. I'm gonna have to play catch up on Friday.
Oh, that's right. You won't be with us
Yeah,
Friday.
Lame.
That is lame.
No black cats.
Oh.
Yeah.
that's just-
Absolutely ridiculous. Not a fan. Not a fan of this judge. Not a fan.
Not so much a fan. And Shanka says you need Stop and Shop bags.
I need a green screen for that. I have cats instead.
Yeah, that's true. Your
Maybe I
cats
can
are
put a bag on the cat.
Amy is so mad.
You guys
wait,
can come
wait.
on.
No. Hold on. Oh, they just went away.
No!
Let me just see.
So we will see you Friday. Friday is a full day. And I have to give you those questions. Discuss this case with anyone. If you happen, be very careful with your social media.
That's just Jerry and Shanka. Okay.
Were they just replaying it?
They might have tricked me again. You know how they are.
Rude.
The luncheon recess at most. You have witnesses lined up for Friday afternoon. So the luncheon recess at most. You have witnesses
Friday.
lined up for Friday afternoon.
I do. I have a number of witnesses ready for the next 3-4.
Hold on. I'm just going to pause it and go back just so we can all hear it. Because I don't know why I'm just transcribing it. You guys, I'm not the lady with the mouth thing. Okay.
On WBZ TV and
So the luncheon recess at most. You have witnesses lined up for Friday afternoon.
I do. I have a number of witnesses ready for the next 3-4 days, and I've
Okay.
given notice to them, and I will try to tighten the order tomorrow morning, and I'll let the court and the defense know.
Great. All right. And nothing you need to see me about right now?
Not for the Commonwealth.
All right. We'll see you on Friday.
Okay. So that was all of that.
Okay.
That was all that. Wasn't much to do about nothing except he's like, oh, I got all these witnesses ready for Friday. All right.
I don't think
Maybe-
we're gonna be done with Jen.
or at least not till lunch. Not till
Like-
lunch, I'm sure.
Whew.
right? Because they could have.
She's pissing me off though. The judge and Jen, like, answer the questions and stop sustaining have her sustained objections. I don't understand. Granted, I'm not an attorney, but like,
I mean,
why?
like, here's the thing, right? It's like it's okay to say I don't remember.
Sure.
You know, like that's to be expected, but you're like digging your heels in every time and then saying words don't matter. But then she wants everyone to know that Karen Reed's words freaking matter. Apparently.
Yep. 3 times.
None of hers matter. It's certainly frustrating to watch her. And at the end there, I felt like she wanted to say I hit her, you know, what Karen said over and over and over again, like on purpose. Like she just wanted it out there. Like,
oh yeah,
babes.
I thought it was great that they came back and, you know, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? What if I, you know, but
agreed.
I don't know. Who do you think? Okay. I don't even know who won today.
I mean,
the prosecution didn't really do anything but object, but most of their objections got sustained.
Yeah, I don't think today was really either one was a winner because I felt like, you know, defense was very confusing in the early morning hours before we took lunch break and stuff. I felt like they were stronger in the second half after lunch. After lunch, I'll give them after lunch. It was pretty good. Bev won the day.
Bev won the day.
You know who didn't win the day? Jen McCabe.
Jen
McCabe did not win the day for anybody, to be quite honest. I mean, I guess I would give it to the defense, but not by much. But that's only because they were talking for like 6 hours today. So he did get Jen to admit that her memory was better today than it was right after it happened. Well, sometimes. Oh, we did learn she lied to the feds or those other law enforcement agencies. They do.
Well,
they did. Great points, class. Great points.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've shown how all the witnesses so far do change their testimony, which, again, to some degree, I wouldn't have a problem with as a juror. I'd be like, yeah, of course you're not going to remember every single word you said to a grand jury. Your problem is when you start to be combative about it and
talking over,
wanting to, like, explain every answer instead of just being like, I don't know. You know, if you're, like, laissez-faire about it, then I wouldn't, you know, have too much of a problem. It's pretty reasonable. But, she did not
every single time.
Every single time.
Oh my gosh.
I loved how he was like, I got time to read 226 pages. I have time to read 226 pages.
Well, they have Friday off or Thursday off now, so
You better go research, girl. You better
she can go read them.
Like, here's the thing, right? Like, she said she read it before or reviewed it. Might have been reviewed or read. I don't know. Words don't matter. So doesn't matter what I say about it. Before the first trial, but then said she did not look at it all for the second one. Like, after what happened in the first trial with you, don't you think you would want to know exactly what you said and when you said it? I would. I would.
She used that last time.
She don't read. I'm just saying, you can't be that upset about it if you're not gonna.
I know.
Read your stuff. I don't know if you're allowed to read that as a witness. I don't actually know how that works. But he asked, so I assume it's fine. She should have given her extra. Yeah. Something like that. Okay, well, what a day. What a day. I don't think she was as aggressive as I heard she was in the first trial, but she certainly was getting that way towards the end. She was getting very defensive.
Agreed. A little testy.
There. If he would have hit that button about an hour ago, I think it would have. She was lucky that court stopped when it did, in my opinion, because it was not going.
She'll probably get a talking to from the attorneys.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You need to try and remain calm.
And we all know she's going to get a call from Carrie. between now and Friday.
Well, yeah.
I hope that's the first question they ask her on Friday.
I hope. Did you and Carrie talk?
Who did you talk to about your testimony? Like, get out of here. Everybody knows you guys were talking, girl. Like,
and everybody knows it was about the testimony. Come on.
Right?
You're telling me that one of your closest friends at this point was on trial, was on the stand in this trial that you both are trauma bonded.
Yeah.
Because of or around, and you guys did not talk about it at all. Nothing.
Talk about it. The whole country watching this trial, analyzing your every move. You're all over social media. You're being harassed by people. But
lies.
We never
absolute talked. Garbage.
You're telling me you didn't watch Carrie from the first trial? After the trial was over, you're telling me you never went and watched anyone else's testimony after that? I call it shenanigans. I call BS. BS on that.
They want you to work tomorrow.
They want me to work tomorrow. Well, listen, there's no court tomorrow. I know that Amy is desperately wanting to be on tomorrow. She's so, not desperately, that's not the right word, excited.
She is excited.
She's so excited to be on tomorrow. And we were so excited to have her on where she's not riding in a car or at work. So we will plan something tomorrow. Which part of the testimony should we watch, guys? The cross?
These couch potatoes of yours are just pushing to get this old testimony through.
I know. They're obsessed. We can just watch the cross. Okay. How's this? We will do cross tomorrow, but I'm going to start a little later tomorrow, guys. Okay. I'd like to sleep in or at least have like 2 cups of coffee before I go on live, if that's all right with all of you guys.
What time are you thinking?
I'm thinking, I'm usually up by like 9, but you guys want to say 10? Is that going to be enough time if we do like 1.25 and we can go through breaks and stuff so we don't have to worry about that?
That'll be great because I'm going to miss it because I'm probably not going to be back until like noon for my appointment.
Oh, you're not? Oh, okay. I knew it was early, but oh.
Well, I thought it was earlier, but they called and changed. Anyway, probably like 11-ish, 11:30 or 12, something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
But that I don't have to watch that testimony, so you guys can watch it, and I still don't know. But I will join you afterwards if you're still doing it.
Guess you'll have to watch it tonight. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so you guys, let's do 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Okay, so Llama can sleep in and maybe have more coffee before we go in, because I was like, no court. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Yes, in Pacific time, later is better. Yes, and for Kelly P, because she's important. So tomorrow we will meet here at 10 a.m. I will have to make a new setup because we already have yes, I did see that you posted. Thank you so much, Polly, for sending those links to us. We already have the stream set up for tomorrow for day 8, but I will move that to Friday and we'll make a new one. So if you haven't yet subscribed, hit the notification bell so you don't miss when we go live tomorrow. We want to hear your reactions too, Annie. So I guess watch the first couple hours tonight. I'm just kidding.
We'll see.
We'll give you the deets. Yeah, we don't time zone here, but we're everywhere. With that, because Annie has to go as well, as do I, because my little guy, he's finally home for the next couple days since he's been in Arizona. So I haven't really got to spend a lot of time with him in like a week and a half. So I'm going to go do that. I will post the stream for tomorrow later tonight, but 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, we will watch Jen's Cross.
Ow.
Sound good, everybody?
Sounds good, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Right. Thank you guys, and go forth and be amazing, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.